Hey everyone, today I'm cutting a new floor in the boat. We've pulled out the old one and it's all covered in oil and it's kind of impregnated with this disgusting smell, so I've got some new panels. I'm going to cut them today. Let's get started. This is the floor out of the boat. It's marine ply with vinyl on top, and as you can see it's pretty ruined. The ply has also been impregnated with diesel and oil and it's pretty smelly, so what I've done is gone to the hardware store and bought these finger jointed laminated timber bench tops. They're 18mm thick. It's hardwood called acacia. So I'm going to use these to cut the floor out, and we won't have to put any vinyl on top. It's got this nice finish, so it'll look a lot nicer. I might have to put a few braces underneath it just to stop it from warping. I'm going to use these pieces as a template to cut them out, and then we'll go and put them in. I'm using the old pieces as a template to cut the new pieces. And the way you want to do this is cut them all upside down. And the reason for that is when a power saw cuts, it cuts upwards. So the top side of it, the timber kind of gets split away at the edges of the cut and you won't get a nice clean line. But the underside, because it's cutting up, it makes a nice clean line. So you get the new piece of timber and you pick the nicest side of it and you put that down. And then you get the old piece, the template, and you put it upside down on top of that. And then all we do is mark it out. And I don't know where my pencil is. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Got it. So you put it upside down and you mark it out. And then what I'm doing is I'm getting a straight edge and I'm putting the straight edge and clamping it down to do the cut. So the cuts are all nice and straight. And for the straight edge, I'm just using a level. And what you have to do is you got to measure from the edge of your power saw to the edge of the blade that's going to be on the outside of the cut. So it's about 39mm. So I'll mark this out, then I measure back in 39mm from the line, clamp the straight edge, and then you can just run the power saw down it and you know it's going to be perfectly straight. I've finished cutting all the rest of the floor. I was too busy to film while I was doing it, so you've missed quite a big chunk in the middle, but I've got all the pieces cut now and I'm just oiling them. So I'm using linseed oil to oil the timber. I probably should have used like a floor, more heavy duty floor coating. So I had like a thicker clear layer, but this is what I've used. And it'll be alright. It keeps that, I like that raw timber feeling, so I think it'll be alright. So I've given them one coat. I'm just going to go and give them a second coat, and I'll just give you a look at how it's looking so far. The timber looks quite nice. I do sort of wish I'd gone with something a bit darker, maybe like a merbau, but this looks pretty good. I'm a bit worried about it cupping because it's all laminated. It is starting to cup a little bit. But I'm going to screw the bigger pieces down, and hopefully the rest of them will be alright. So I've given them one coat. I'm just going to go and give them a second coat.
2021.
All the linseed oil is dried, so I'm going to start putting the floor down. The first thing I'm going to do is put the bench top down. I'm just going to use liquid nails to stick it down, screw it up from underneath. I've got a face to go on here. I'll fix the face on, and then we'll start with the floor. the new floor on the benchtop in. I'll give you a look around. So it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. I don't know if you remember the floor that was in here when we bought it, but it looks a lot better than that. So tomorrow I've just got to put the sink in, put the tap in. The tap, this was the tap that came out of it. It's really nice, made in New Zealand, I think. Solid brass. The seal in it was all dried up, but it's a leather seal, so I just soaked it in water for a couple of days and it's as good as new. So I'm going to put that back in, put the sink back in, and there's a cover that goes over the engine here. I just got to put some new carpet around that and I'll chuck that back in. I'm going to do that now. This boat is getting just tantalizingly close to being done on the inside. Next thing I'm going to do is drop this sink in, put the tap in, and then I've got to clean the water tank up, put that in, and then run a water hose to the tap. This was a valve that was underneath the sink, and it's pretty corroded, but it still works. So I'm just going to take it into the workshop and put it on the wire wheel and clean it up a bit, and then that can go back in. Just like everything else on this boat, when I first got it, this water tank was filthy. So I took it out and flushed it out and gave it a clean. Cleaned all the outside. I've got a new outlet hose for it. So I'm just going to take it underneath the cockpit, mount it under there where it goes, and then fill it up and we'll see if the tap works. I hooked the tank up and filled it up with water, but the tap isn't really working. I think we're still having troubles with the seal inside. It's just not really pumping. It's trying, but it's not quite getting it. So I'll have to take that apart and have another look at it. But that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.